So if Boxo ever really had to explain his adventures to someone, it honestly ain't looking good for him. Obviously, it's not what it looks like, but you can sum down episode 7 of Reborn as a Vending Machine as Boxo lures kids in the dungeon and sells them meat. And that is absolutely objectively what happened, but damn, could that be taken out of context? But you have to admit, this show is surprisingly good. And I've been saying that for a while, but I think this episode even takes it up a notch even more because, yes, it keeps in line with what we expect. Different wacky vending machine ideas that legit exist. It's not just an author creating things. These are all things that if you look up, they do exist across time, whether currently still in this modern age or they happen in the 1900s. Like, they are around. The fact that you almost reinvent the formula for a bit. As seen by next week's preview, we are going to be fighting this giant Attack on Titan-like skeleton. It's really cool how we go from kind of being accustomed to everyone recognizing Boxo and just being like, yeah, this is a living, breathing thing that just maybe it can't fully talk with us because of a limited speech pattern, but they recognize it as a living thing, all things considered. And then we have a group of kids who are like, yeah, this thing's cool, but it's a dumb old box who can't say a whole lot, and the frustration and just the freaking out and the cuteness, it just all works to craft a very refreshing but familiar episode of the show, which is the perfect thing you want to see for the second half kind of getting kick-started with episode 7. Now, I do have a full live reaction to today's wonderful Reborn as a Vending Machine episode available on my Patreon, so if you would like to see that, it is over there if you're interested. Now, this was a very good episode. I like how they braced his fall. I like the idea of almost the bait of like, oh man, what's this crocodile coin gonna do? Like, I didn't think he was gonna turn into a crocodile with that thing, but I was expecting something a little more than just a little trophy to say, hey, good job, you defeated the floor boss. Granted, he did get like 1,000,000 points from defeating the floor boss, so it's not like he didn't get nothing. It seems more like a trophy to say like, we did indeed defeat the boss, but I'm interested to see if maybe if you defeat a bunch of floor bosses, if you have enough of those coins, if it can be exchanged for a skill or something like that, maybe a unique skill, I don't know. But either way, like, he did get to upgrade himself to rank 2, so he's got a bunch of new stats that he can upgrade, and overall, things are looking good for Boxo skill-wise. But of course, when you get separated from your crew, you're kind of shit out of luck. It was kind of interesting because he installs a solar panel, and because he's basically in the middle of a giant maze, like a labyrinth, he basically can catch the sun rays and can keep himself going. But it's kind of cute because you have these 4 kids who are all like these kind of beast people, as Boxo refers to them as almost like Tasmanian devils, which, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the last time I've heard any anime character be explained like a Tasmanian devil before, but that was kind of awesome. And the idea that you have one of them's kind of like a little wounded, her legs kind of wrapped up, and he does the thing that I've been waiting a while to see. He shoots pretty much bottles of milk at the creatures chasing them to get them the hell away from them. And just to see how they just assume it's like a weird thing, and then he lures them with the sweet scent of the meat because they're animals, right? Especially like they're carnivores by the looks of him. So the fact that you have the one gets referred to as like we're like chubby, and they all look about the same way, but I guess because one has a bigger appetite than the other, you know, he's kind of like the guinea pig who starts eating the scented, and honestly, it makes sense, right? If you're in a dangerous maze, a labyrinth of any sort, and there's a weird object you've never seen, something dropping a pleasant smelling item is pretty much almost guaranteed that when you go near it, you're gonna get like Venus flytraps or something. Like, it isn't gonna work out well. But I guess when you're hungry enough, pretty much your defense mechanisms completely go away. And it was really cute to see because they're gluttons and they completely waste their money because, Jesus Christ, like, there was probably enough to fuel our boy for a year with how much they seemingly purchased. And I like how the leader of this little group pretty much, you know, he's one step away from having a shitty attitude in any other show, but he's like super wholesome in this show. So what I mean is like the way he's like skeptical, like, oh, you know, this thing's kind of stupid, just has like these random phrases. Oh, we can't read this weird lettering on top, and you can tell the frustration from Boxo because he's trying to say, you know, I'm not saying random shit, like I can only say a few things, so you have to recognize that one means yes, one means no, and obviously it's frustrating from that point of view, but it was actually very nice to see a group of characters just be like, no, this thing's useful, but it's just a box, right? Like, there's nothing too complex about it in that way. So it was kind of funny when Director Bear is just like, oh no, this is what it means, yes or no. And then he asks like 2 or 3 questions, and once that lines up, it's not like he just believes, all right? Because he's a kid with his own kind of like, he's doubting the world in his own way, and after confirming it, they just freak out and end the episode. It's little moments like those that make a show like this feel a lot more organic and natural, as if it's a living and breathing cast, because they actually treated them as kids who had their own skepticism of the world, and just because an adult tells them that they respect, like, nah, I think you guys maybe just have been drinking the silly juice, because there's no way in hell this thing's alive, until obviously you can't deny it anymore. And I just like it. I thought it was a very fun episode, and I'm really glad that based on the preview, it seems like we're going up against what should be maybe the floor boss, or like the dungeon boss, the labyrinth boss, whatever you want to call it, because that thing literally had Attack on Titan vibes. The initial shot of the hand coming over the wall, completely reminiscent of season 1 of Attack on Titan with the Colossal. And honestly, it's pretty cool because because what we do is ultimately it's like a gas vending machine, and a big flame explosion goes off, and seemingly that thing just powers that skeleton up even more, as it has like little kind of like decoy droids, like maybe surveillance, that if it spots you, then it lures the main thing to you. It's just is a very impressive looking floor boss. It's a giant flaming skeleton the size of a colossal titan, and that's pretty intense. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how they're going to fight that, because Boxo and his creative ways of dealing things is obviously one of the charming aspects about Reborn as a vending machine. So we did get quite a few varieties of transformations, the first of which, as he's falling to what should be his death, is basically he transforms into, well, a machine that can then make a bunch of balloons, which is a good idea, you know, you're trying to brace your fall, but because he's a giant hunking piece of metal, yeah, it ain't gonna do a whole lot. Turns out there's apparently a thing called cardboard vending machines because they were popular with kids, and I'm just like, holy shit, man. It is a damn good thing you know about all this, because who the hell would have thought that? Because yeah, it's a nice idea, the balloons, but you're a big piece of metal. Unless you have some anti-gravity skill, there's no way that was gonna work. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously you have the gas vending machine, you have a bunch of just really nice transformations that were both fun on a visual level, but most importantly, they made sense for the situation that they were currently in, sort of a thing, and it just provided for a very refreshing episode. Very familiar with what we've expected, but because we were with a group of kids who just had no idea what Boxo was or what a Boxo even is, like, it just provided for a very fun episode that stuck to the formula we come to expect, but just kind of shake it up because of a new setting and a new group of characters who didn't have, like, Director Bear right away to tell them, oh, this is actually a living creature, or it's a sentient creature of some sort, or we didn't have an intelligent woman who could just piece it together just like that because she studies magic items all the time. Like, this show, I'm gonna keep saying it has no right to be as good as it is, but damn, this author really crafted something special, and hopefully this will kickstart the author to be able to continue working on the source material, because the anime is quite fantastic right now. But let me know what you thought of episode 7 of Reborn as a Vending Machine. What do you hope to see with next week, seemingly with that big fire skeleton fight? I'm excited for it. Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction to today's wonderful Reborn as a Vending Machine episode available on my Patreon. And while you're there, you'll also get a video shout out. So today we have Callum Brailsford, Richard Diaz, LCPL Lopez, Yukanai Zhu, Shasi, and Devin Samuel. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.